Hello, it's Dr. Obidi, board certified pediatrician for over 17 years, and today I'm going to be talking about a condition that over 50% of newborns have and that a lot of moms aren't quite sure what to make of or understand very well. And I'm talking about jaundice. So, like I said, over 50%, right about 60% of newborns, that's 6 out of every 10 newborns on average, is going to have this condition called jaundice. And sometimes we pediatricians and the medical community in general don't always do a very good job of explaining what a condition is, and we sometimes assume everyone knows what this is. So today I'm going to give you the basics of what jaundice is and why you should care about it and what to do if your baby does have jaundice. So again, what's jaundice? Jaundice is the yellowing of your baby's skin. Usually gets noticed first in the eyes and then the face, and can sort of move downwards, and it's the yellowing of the skin caused by a chemical substance called bilirubin. And bilirubin is formed when your red blood cells break down after their normal lifespan. The body gets rid of the old red blood cells and has new ones produced, and the old ones, when they're broken down, break down into one of the substances they break down into is bilirubin, which again, when it floats around in the bloodstream, can cause the yellowing of your baby's skin. And why do we care about a jaundice? Well, bilirubin at very high levels can be quite toxic to your baby's nervous system and can cause a condition called kernicterus, which is really like a permanent brain damage to your baby. Now, this happens at very high levels, and that's why as a clinician, your pediatrician is going to be watching very carefully for jaundice when it develops in your baby and monitoring those levels to see what it looks like. Oftentimes blood is drawn, usually, especially in the US, every baby is screened at 24 hours or thereabouts or earlier if it's necessary, to see what the levels are. And we can plot this on the graph or on an app to see what the risk level is. Take other things into consideration to see if it's something that needs to be treated or if it's something that we can just watch and see if your baby gets rid of it on its own. So how does your baby get rid of jaundice? Well, bilirubin, in the state it's first produced in and as it floats around in the bloodstream, cannot be gotten rid of in that form. And your baby has to produce an enzyme from its liver to convert it into a kind of chemical that can now be gotten rid of in the pee and the poop. When your baby is still growing in utero, inside of you, your own liver as a mom takes care of that job. But when your baby is born, it has to do it itself. And sometimes a lot of babies don't have enough enzyme to convert the bilirubin fast enough to get rid of it. Now, as they get older with each hour, they produce more and more of this enzyme, and they're able to handle higher and higher levels and get rid of it. And eventually, those are very tiny levels in the bloodstream that don't make any difference. So again, that's what jaundice is, and that's how your baby typically gets rid of it. Now, sometimes your baby may have a risk factor that causes them to have higher levels, and that requires it to be treated. It could be an infection, it could be some genetic condition they may have inherited. Sometimes breast milk itself can make it difficult for your baby to get rid of jaundice, and so there's a condition called breastfeeding jaundice. So a number of things, or just if your baby's not feeding very well, that can also lead to higher levels of bilirubin and higher levels of jaundice, because they're just not getting rid of the pee, not making enough pee and poop to get rid of the jaundice that's floating, or the bilirubin that is floating around in the bloodstream. So that's how you take care of, that's how it's produced, and that's how you get rid of bilirubin naturally. Now, when you have really high levels, one of the ways you're able to treat that is through phototherapy or light therapy. And there's a particular wavelength in light that is able to, when it hits the skin and hits the bilirubin floating around in the bloodstream, is able to convert it to the form that your baby can get rid of in its pee and its poop. And so you may have heard of babies having phototherapy, or maybe your baby had phototherapy when they had jaundice, and that's what's going on. You may also hear people say, well, put your baby by the, by the windows so the sunlight can hit their skin. And that's why they say that, because as the sunlight hits your baby's skin, the particular part of the wavelength of the sunlight is able to help convert your baby's jaundice bilirubin into a level that they can get, or a form they can get rid of in their pee and their poop. But that's not very effective, and that's why typically, depending on how high and what the risk level is of your baby's jaundice, it's going to require actual phototherapy where that particular wavelength in light is concentrated enough to take care and get rid of the jaundice. So it's important for you to sort of, be aware of what jaundice and what it means and what it does and why we worry or care about it, because it can have long-term effects if it's extremely high. So I hope this is useful. You definitely want to ask your pediatrician or your clinical provider questions. If you do have questions about jaundice, it's okay. We don't expect you to necessarily understand all of this, and you do want to make sure you know what's going on with your baby. And I provided answers that help you feel more confident caring for your baby. Well, I hope this is useful. Again, this is Dr. Obidi, board-certified pediatrician. I want to invite you to follow me on Instagram or on Facebook, and just where I produce more content that is helpful to help you care more confidently for your newborn. Well, bye for now. Take care. Hi there, it's Dr. Obidi, and thank you for watching this video. I hope it was helpful. If you enjoyed it, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and click the notification button so you don't miss an episode. Now, as a father of 3 and a pediatrician practicing for over 17 years and caring for thousands of newborns at this point, I know that caring for a newborn or expecting to care for one can be quite challenging. And so that's why I have put together my free resource guide called the Confident New Mom Guide. Links are in the description below. I really cover all the key things that moms typically find challenging as they prepare to care for a newborn. So go ahead and check it out. I know it'll be useful to you. And thank you again for watching this video. I'll see you back here again soon. Bye-bye now.